afternoon, my name is Zach Howard.
And I'm Alex Rampt. Welcome to The Grit.
Hockey starts off their season tonight against district rival Olentangy tonight at Chiller North at 7:30.
Girls volleyball ended off another great season, placing in the state Final Four. They lost to Mentor in the state semifinals 3-1.
Football won in the second round of the OHSAA playoffs 43-14 against district rivals Berlin. Junior Tyler Gibson had the first 6 points of the game with 2 field goals. Jake Lulling and Trayton Schroeder both had a receiving touchdown along with Levi Davis adding 2 on the ground. Lucas Fickle scored the last touchdown of the game to cap off a phenomenal start to the playoffs for the Nears.
Now let's throw it over to Sarah with an exclusive interview with state runner-up cross-country runner Brooke Chapman.
Thanks, guys. How did you first get into cross-country running?
So a few family members ran when they were in high school, and my brother ran in middle school, and I always liked, I grew up playing soccer and basketball, and I always liked running in those sports, so I thought I'd try it out in middle school.
What was the secret to having such an elite high school cross-country career?
I think one of the main parts is having great coaching. Coach Walters is a great coach. He does a great job at pushing us and encouraging us, and also you just gotta love the sport and be coachable and just go out there and compete.
What has been your most memorable race so far, and why?
I would say just this whole season has been pretty memorable just because I've had to overcome a lot through injury and a couple other things. So I've learned a lot about the sport and about myself, and it's just, yeah.
Do you have any pre-race rituals or routines?
I typically will eat the same foods before my races. I like Jimmy John's sandwiches, and then just wearing like the same jewelry and little things like that.
How do you define success for yourself as a runner?
Obviously I want to go out there and compete and win, but that doesn't always happen. So for me, it's just going out there and knowing I'm putting my best foot forward and knowing I'm like giving it all I have. And if I do that, I'm happy with whatever result.
Yeah. What are some of your future goals in cross country?
So this weekend I have Nike Regionals, and from there you can qualify to Nike Nationals. So that's one of my main goals right now. And there's also another national meet that I'm going to try and qualify for. So yeah.
Thanks so much for coming in today. Now back to the boys.
All right.
Thanks, Sarah, and thank you, Brooke. Now time to get into the best part of the show, the pick'ems. We've got a great slate today, both regional semifinal games for the Pioneers region, and then a good slate of college football games. So starting it off, Liberty Patriots tonight coming into Pioneer Field to take on the Nears. This is going to be a phenomenal game. Obviously, big district rivalry. Orange went to Liberty, beat them in their senior night. Orange has just dominated the whole year. Liberty obviously on an amazing run. Only that one loss to the Nears on senior night since starting the season 0-3. This is going to be a great game. It's going to be a good defensive game. There's going to be a lot of turnovers. It's going to be a really exciting game. But I don't see it being that high scoring, and I don't think Liberty can slow down Levi Davis and Lucas Fickle as much as they're hoping to. Last game against Berlin, 43-14, just an explosion from the Pioneer offense, even compared to how they played against Berlin in the regular season. Obviously, Liberty is looking better, shutting out Tangy last week to get to this spot, but I can't bet against the Nears.
Yeah, neither can I. I'm going to have to go with the Pioneers as well, just based on who they beat last week in Olentangy as well. Similar defenses, but Orange's offense is a lot better. They beat Olentangy, I believe it was 17-0. We beat Olentangy 42-14, so I'm going to have to go with the Nears here.
Yeah, and here we're getting into a big trap game for Pick Central. This is the other regional semifinal game in Region 3. This is going to be a great game. UA is one of the sneakiest teams in the playoffs every year. They came in as the 6th seed, huge win against Westerville Central, big upset against Pick North last week. UA just transforms into a different team in the playoffs. Obviously, Pick Central, one of the best teams in Ohio the whole year. Only that one week 2 loss to Pick North, actually, earlier in the season. Have had some phenomenal wins, have been blowing teams out. But this UA defense becomes something else when it comes playoff time. I mean, they were able to hold off Pick North in overtime last week to be able to get a field goal to win. That was a phenomenal game to watch. I think this is going to be very similar. I see it being within 3 to 7 points. but I think UA's defense is actually going to be too good for Pick Central. I think UA comes away with a huge upset to make it to the Elite Eight.
Well, I'm going to have to go with Pick Central here. Pick Central, their only loss, like you said, was to Pick North, 3-17. I think they're going to recognize that, hey, the team that we're about to beat the only team that beat us. I think they're going to come in a lot more prepared. Is it, like you said, you called it a trap game? I don't really think it is. I think they're going to come in prepared and ready, and I think Pick Central is going to get the victory.
All right, now we're getting over to our college football. We've got a great Big Ten matchup. Number 21 Iowa going to California to play number 17 USC. This is going to be a phenomenal game. Iowa obviously last week with a really good loss against Oregon at home, 18-16. Iowa's running attack was really able to, and their defense were able to keep them in that cold game where there wasn't much offense through the air for either team. I love Gronkowski here for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and I think their defense is the biggest factor in taking down USC.
I think I agree. USC has shown sparks all year, and they've played close with some other good teams like Notre Dame right here. But I have to go with Iowa. I think Iowa's just played, like you said, Iowa just played Oregon a lot better than I think USC ever could, at least this year. So I'm going to have to go with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, all right. And now going over to Notre Dame at Pitt. Two young quarterbacks, two solid teams. But this year, at least, Notre Dame just they don't have that extra level that I feel like they've had the past couple of years. They've been competing for top seeds every year. They're number 9 right now. This could easily, very well, be a loss for Notre Dame going into Pitt. However, I just can't get myself to back up this Pitt team. They're good. They're a good team. But they don't really have that X factor, I think, that puts them over the edge like Notre Dame does with CJ Carr, with Jeremiah Love. I think that the top end players on Notre Dame are going to be too explosive for Pitt, so I'm going to take the Fighting Irish.
I'm also going to have to go with Notre Dame here. Like you said, I like Mason Heinschel a lot on Pitt. He's played phenomenally in the short time frame that we've shown. He's stepped up well for when in Eli Holstein's stead. Again, this Pitt team just doesn't have, I don't think, enough talent. Even though it's at home, I think Notre Dame's just kind of going to run over them, going to beat them in the trenches like these more talented teams always tend to do.
Yeah, all right, now we're moving into the last two SEC games. The SEC Glazers' mouths are foaming looking at this lineup. Texas against Georgia and Oklahoma at Bama. The hypotheticals after this week are going to be insane. Even if both these games are blowouts, the team that loses, all the SEC fans are going to say they would blow out every Big Ten team by 30. But this week, I think we see a lot of weaknesses with these a little bit shakier teams, and I think we see some big strengths in the good teams. Texas is a good team, good defense. Obviously, Arch Manning has played decent, started off the year bad, but he's kind of recovered since then. But Texas is not as good as they are ranked. I don't believe in Arch Manning still. I don't think he's going to go into Georgia and do anything special. And I think Gunnar Stockton, along with this Bulldogs defense, is just going to be too good for Georgia. I don't see this one being very close, so I'm going to take Georgia.
Well, I'm actually going to have to take the Texas Longhorns here. Now I'm going to start off. Gunnar Stockton is a good quarterback, and this Georgia team, as always, is one of the most talented teams in the entire country. At the same time, they have been playing like they should be ranked number 25. They have been playing down to competition every single week. They just had a really close game with Florida last time we seen them, or 2 weeks ago, and that Florida team just got blown out by Kentucky. So this team is not very strong, or not. They are a very strong team, but they tend to play down to competition, even at home. Of the one bad loss at home to Alabama, and Texas is just, say what you will about them, they have found a way to win football games all year long, especially against Mississippi State. Now, against teams of the caliber of Georgia, probably not, but I still think they're going to get some little more, luck of the Irish.
Yeah. All right, and now we have Oklahoma going into Tuscaloosa to take on the Crimson Tide. This is a great game, great quarterback matchup, just great combination of skill sets from both teams. I have always been an Alabama hater. I always will be. But this Bama team looks strong this year. Obviously not rated as high as they have been past years, but that's because the top three have just looked absolutely elite. We haven't really seen that the past couple years. I love Ty Simpson this year. He's played phenomenal, obviously top 3 in Heisman. But Oklahoma's defense has been pretty solid. John Mateer, obviously still kind of recovering from an injury, but he is, I believe, back. I'm not sure if he's full strength yet, but he is still playing for them. I just can't, after those 2 losses from Oklahoma, I just can't see them getting over the hump against a team as good as Alabama. Obviously, at the start of the year, they were one of my favorite teams. John Mateer was my Heisman favorite by far. That has not panned out to that has not really panned out this year for Oklahoma. They have looked a little shaky in the past couple weeks, and I just don't think there's any way they beat Alabama and that defense, which has just been elite this year.
What even happened with John Mix here? They said that he was out for the year, and then he's just continued to play. But anyway, it doesn't really matter if he plays or not. I'm still have to go with Alabama. Again, it's in Tuscaloosa, and Ty Simpson is right now just the better quarterback. So I'm going to have to go with the Crimson Tide.
That's all for our show. Thanks for tuning into this week's edition of The Grit. Make sure to support your Nears in action this week. I'm Alex Ramft.
And I'm Zach Howard. We hope to see you next Friday on The Grit. And as always, roll Nears.